The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, reigning by master.
You see how they're messing them? Do you see how disgraceful?
The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu,
we are live and we are direct. You may not like it and quite high. If you like it, if you don't like it, it doesn't we are live and we are
But there is one thing I want all of us to understand this very evening. We are facing a very formidable array of enemies, both external and within. And we are going to overcome each and every one of these obstacles. That I can assure you, that they may know that the God we worship is an invisible God, not a God that was wrought by the hands of men. For we do not worship idol, and we can never ever worship idol. Is impossible. This very family, this IPOB, belongs to the Most High. And that is how it's going to be until Biafra comes and beyond, to eternity. This evening, I want to place it on record that our enemies are intensifying their attack against us from every corner. I am not saying this as lamentation or complaint. I am only trying to prepare our people for what is to come. You are being prepared for what is to come. The time has come to separate the chaff from the wheat itself. Our march is very, very near. The enemies are trembling, they are quaking, they are doing all they can to try to stop us. But they have failed very woefully, and they will continue to fail. But I want to tell you that we are getting attacks from everywhere all over the world. And very soon, they will buy over some of you. They will buy some of you over. The spirit of Oba Biasika and Ifajuna are still in some of you. When the time comes, they will buy you over. I am not doing this program tonight to ask all of you to be strong. I am doing it to remind you, not that if they succeed in buying you over, you're not going to stop what we're doing. You can't. You cannot. Not in 1 trillion years. But I need you to appreciate one very simple fact. That at the end of this very race, everybody will testify that indeed Chukwukika Abiyama, the same God of Israel, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the same God of Ehiri in Aguleri, the same God of Umweri, the same God of Ora-Eri, the same God of Owe-Eri, the same God of Arochukwu. Not to be nobody, the true God, one true God. You will know that indeed, not only is he omnipotent, that same God is the owner of this very agitation. No human being can stop it. We have enemies, and we need to be very, very careful, both within and without. Very, very careful. The next 2 weeks will be very pivotal. Next 2 weeks will be very, very important in the life, or should I say, in this very mission that we have embarked upon. The devil will do everything. And you are going to watch spectacularly how we are going to destroy and shame the enemy. That at the end, every glory and adoration will belong to God and not to man. Now let us go and tell you what is happening that some of you do not understand. I want those of you who are hardcore, those who we are chosen before you were born. There were some people who were chosen before they were born to agitate for Biafra restoration. This is a message for you. Those who from their mother's womb they were born to do this very work. You must be very, very strong. Because Biafra will open the eyes of black people all over the world. Because Biafra will mean that blacks from America, blacks from the Caribbean, from Southern America, they will all flood into Africa. It will be like the time that Yeshua was born. Biafra is like a light, a beacon. They will follow it. They will say, let us go and see what is happening there. That is what these neo-colonialists do not want. They don't want Biafra to come. I am telling our people so they understand. The mountains, I didn't say one mountain, the mountains in front of us that we need to overcome. And for us to overcome it, we need to be very strong mentally, mental strength. Just like when you're doing anything in life, and it appears as if you are being buffeted from everywhere. That is the time that you no longer rely on willpower or your muscles. You go to your brain to endure and to persevere and to keep going until you overcome. That is the stage we are in right now. To make sure that our brain is in gear to confront everything the Janjaweed has to throw at us. We don't have money. Their budget is over $20 billion to fight us. They can bribe Facebook. They can buy them off. They can do anything they like. They can come to some of you and bribe you off. They can promise you what you've never had before. They can give you maybe a house in Dubai. They can promise you a vehicle. They can tell you, oh, we'll make you vice president. They can promise you anything to make sure that you're like them. But this very IPOB, this very hardcore is not going to move. And I will tell you why we can't move.
We have tried to live in Nigeria designed by Great Britain and handed to us. We have found it difficult to live in that Nigeria. We have fought a civil war, killed so many people, and still we have the same problems reoccurring. Perhaps the time has come to revisit the very foundations of Nigeria.
Are defending him. Fulani people are defending him. But you idiots from the south, from the east, you're talking rubbish about your one Nigeria. Whereas a terrorist, a killer, a murderer is in government as a minister. His own people are the people defending him. But you are in the south attacking those who are fighting for your freedom. And you're telling me that your brains are normal. Maybe that's your one Nigeria. Whereas a terrorist, a killer, a murderer is in government as a minister. His own people are the people defending him. But you are in the south attacking those who are fighting for your freedom. And you're telling me that your brains are normal. Maybe there's something in Suya, maybe in Kilishi, and in that cattle that they give to us to eat. There must be something fundamentally wrong with us as a people. Fundamentally wrong with us as a people. And we must confront it. And confront it we shall. These people lecturing us about no secession. You're destroying the country. You people, you Fulani idiots, you Fulani bigots, you Fulani impostors, you Fulani vagabonds are the same people that welcomed the rehabilitation of terrorists. You granted bandits, killers, murderers, and kidnappers amnesty. I want Obia not to listen. I want Tripas to listen. I want Tripas, this idiot, Sarikin Fulani of Imo State, who puts them to listen very, very carefully. You people are fools because you cannot listen very well. The same people you're fighting for, killing your own people because of them, they are the ones rehabilitating, so they claim, putting the army that we have today. Somebody might come and say, you have given the order that the police and the army should be attacked. All those idiots. Some of you fools who cannot reason. We are not attacking any police. We are attacking the terrorists that they brought into the police and into the army. They are the ones killing our people. We must defend ourselves. You fools cannot reason very well. We are not fighting any standing or legally, properly constituted army or police. These are the same Fulani terrorists, murderers and killers. The same people that went in in Damaturu or wherever it is, killing and slaughtering Christians in droves. You fools that cannot reason. The same Boko Haram that has been killing, the same Fulani terrorists have been killing people. They are the ones now in the army. Did you not see them? Recruit them into the army? You're telling me we shouldn't fight them? These are terrorists in police uniform and army uniform. You're saying we should not fight them? Is that what you're saying? Are you that foolish? Are you that stupid? This same Fulani pontificating about peace and unity and anti-secession whatever garbage that they are pouring out of their useless, stinking janjaweed mouths. These same idiots, these same fools are the ones that rehabilitated Boko Haram. So they claim. These fools are the ones that granted amnesty to bandits. Now, let me surprise all of you. Surprise, surprise. Those that are giving amnesty to are Fulani terrorists, Fulani bandits, Fulani kidnappers, Fulani headsmen who are murderers and land-grabbing urchins. These are the people that are giving amnesty to. You people should reason. You zoo animals called Nigerians, reason for once. The hypocrisy in Fulani, their hypocrisy is astonishing. Hypocrites. Fulani, who is responsible for the state of almost anarchy in the zoo, who is responsible for the hopelessness of the security framework of the zoo, Fulani, who is responsible for insecurity, Fulani, who are the bandits, Fulani, who are the terrorists in the zoo, Fulani, which people are going about slaughtering and taking over other people's farmlands. It is you. You people are the problem. Unfortunately, some idiots from the south cannot see it. You wanted to show us that you know how to write grammar, writing rubbish about one Nigeria. You are defending something that is indefensible. Indefensible, you fools. Some smelly rats, some smelly garbage, gutter, alamajiri, gutter. The lowest of the low. If it's one of those of their fools talking, I will even understand. From the gutter. not contributed one single thing to the advancement of the zoo. Not one single contribution has the Fulani ever made. Tell me one national contribution that the Fulani has ever made to the advancement of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. Just name one thing, absolutely nothing. They want power and control of oil and gas. That's all they need, that's all they want, so they can run your lives for you and control your destiny. And you're not ashamed of yourself to claim that you're educated.
Iwe were iwe gị n'ọnụma iwe dị aleta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị kunie ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị niile n'iyi okwu ebepụ ya isi anyị bụ ka anyị kpọkwa onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọbụla anyị mara aka n'ime ha si na ha aga n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri agha nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra bụ ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm juru ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwe sịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwe sịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị anya ka isi wee hụ ndị iro anyị n'anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akọba anyị ka anyị na-aza akọba anyị na-aza ike Chukwu akọba anyị na-aza amara Chineke akọba anyị na-aza Chisom akọba anyị na-aza Chizoba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye obi na anyị bụ ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ajọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe tituo ozu ọ bụ ọgụwa mgbe e milere Goliat Chineke nna nke igwe wee memiri Fero sikwa otu a mee ka Fero gbagụzọ n'ihu ụmụ ndị IPOB ka o wee taa akọkọ iguni ọtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụghị nwa bụ ekegere eluigwe n'ụwa onye ọbụla kere gị nweghị mmalite nweghị ọgwụgwụ kama anyị onwe anyị bụ anọkwa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama marakwa na okwu gị na-anọgide gị ruo mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe mee ka ebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu nke abịa ma
Welcome, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom. I welcome you to this morning. Okay, this afternoon. Here is afternoon. This afternoon, here on our page, IPOB Western Cape, South Africa Media. We are reaching you live from Western Cape, South Africa. And I welcome you, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom, in the name of Chukwu Henine, whom in his mercy preserved us all to see this wonderful day that he has made. I welcome you once again to this page this morning and this afternoon, depending where you're watching us from, fellow Biafrans. I want to, as you are joining us this morning or this afternoon, depending where you are, to share the program, like the program, share it on all the platforms that you belong. Invite your friends, invite your relatives, invite your families, invite those who love freedom and those who crave for freedom. Because what we are preaching here is nothing but freedom. For us, it is freedom, freedom, and freedom. That is the only language we speak here, nothing more and nothing less. I welcome you once again. I bring you greetings, fellow Biafrans, from my coordinator, Mazino Centania, Western Cape representative. I bring you greetings from all the coordinators in Western Cape, South Africa, IPOB. I also bring you greetings from all the executive of IPOB Western Cape, South Africa. In this part of the world, we believe on nothing but IPOB code of conduct. We believe and we depend on the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Okukanu, the leader of our IPOB worldwide. We have no other leader except him. Therefore, welcome you to this page. We believe in everything that IPOB Code of Conduct said. That is why we are still standing. In spite of all the fight from the enemies of the struggle, they shut our zones, they did everything, they shake us, but we are still standing. Why are we still standing? We are still standing because we are standing on the truth. Truth is the foundation of IPOB, and like our leader will always say, in IPOB we are white and we are whiter than the snow. As long as you are standing on the truth, there is nothing that the enemies can do to you. That is why we are still standing. The Zoological Republic could not push us down, even when they tried everything to destroy IPOB from within. They failed. Why? Because there are men that believe in the truth. There are men who still believe that IPOB can never be destroyed, and we are still standing fighting after almost 3 years. Our leader is being kidnapped and dumped in a solitary confinement. We thank you, that today we are counting down to the release of our leader, because in the next few days, our leader will be released. We are not expecting anything less. Yes, we expect that our leader should be released to us unconditionally. Yes, that is our belief, and that is what we are waiting for. There is nothing that anybody can tell us come 15th of December. So if you are one of those who still expect that our leader will not be released, I am here to disappoint you that there is nothing that the zoo can do only to release our leader to us, because he is innocent, and there is nothing that the zoo had or still has against him. This is IPOB Western Cape South African Media. Here we speak nothing but the truth. We are without fear or favor. We are fearless before our enemies. We are not here to represent any individual, but to represent and to defend our fatherland, Biafra. For us, it is Biafra today, tomorrow, and forever. If you are offended by our resolve, we have no apologies for that. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of IPOB worldwide, and his position is incontestable. IPOB is here to restore Biafra, and we are not going to be swayed until Biafra is restored. Welcome to IPOB Western Cape South Africa Media, saying it the way it is. Here, I want to remind you that we have no permanent friends and we do not have permanent enemies. We are here to restore Biafra, and nothing can stop us. We are fanatical, we are determined to pay the price for freedom. There is no price that is too much to pay for the freedom of your people. That is why we are here, because we don't have any other option. The only option that we have is Biafra. Biafra or Biafra. Without restoring Biafra, we are failures. No matter who you are, if we fail to restore Biafra, we have failed collectively. It is not about who you are. It's not about what you are given. The point is that whatever you can do for Biafra to be restored must be done. You must do it. My name is Maazị Onyebuchi. I am the host, and by the special grace of Chukwuoike Abiama, I am the Parklands Unit Coordinator. I say to you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, depend where you are watching me from this afternoon from the land of South Africa. Fellow Biafrans, before we go into the little we have to discuss this afternoon here, I want you to know that this is our month. This is our month in the sense that Onye Ndu Maazị Nnamdi Kanu is coming out in a few days' time. Yes, I said Onye Ndu Maazị Nnamdi Kanu is coming out in a few days' time. And remember, the topic to our program this morning says the cost of slavery at the cost of freedom. There is no price too much for your freedom, because being and remaining a slave is quite more expensive. All hail Biafra. That is our topic this morning. But before we go to this topic, I want you to know that, as you already know, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom, friends of Biafrans all over the world, the day we have been waiting for is is here already, because when the Zoological Republic, when they adjourned this case, this ruling to 15th of December, they thought it is going to be forever. But they don't know that 15th is not far away. Today we are almost there. And we are waiting patiently for this day to finally arrive so that our leader could be released to us, because we are not waiting for the zoo to do their abracadabra. No, we are not waiting for the zoo. We are not expecting anything less than the freedom of our leader, a man that was kidnapped, a man that was extraordinarily renditioned back to Zoological Republic, a man that committed no crime. The only crime that Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu committed is a crime of freedom for his outspokenness, speaking for the freedom of his people, when self-determination is not a crime anywhere in the world. We went all the way to Kenya to kidnap him. After that, you extraordinarily renditioned him back to the Zoological Republic, where you kept him in solitary confinement for the past 3 years. Today, the day that you never wanted to come is about to come. The day that you never anticipated that it will come has already come. We are here waiting for the 15th of December so that our leader could be released to us. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a man that speaks out and for the freedom of his people. He committed no crime. Nigeria, as a zoo, committed all the crimes in the world, breaking all the treaties and agreements, both international and locally, going all the way to kidnap a man in a foreign land. Now, Nigeria cannot stand on illegality and win. It is very, very impossible. Nigeria has committed a crime that nullified everything that they think they had against Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu. Even before now, they had nothing against him, but their actions has nullified everything that they thought they had against him. Today, the only thing that we are talking about is how our leader should be released to us, because there is no case against him. Nigeria government and their terrorists enablers has nothing against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Therefore, we are waiting that on the 15th of December, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released to us. So the Zoological Republic, the day you never thought will come, has come. And finally, your shame is going to be confirmed, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released, whether you like it or you don't like it. The truth is that you cannot keep a man that committed no crime. Rather, you are the one who committed this crime against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, I just want to read a little bit tweet from Barrister Aloy Ejimako. Aloy Ejimako is the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Aloy Ejimako has been using his intellectual capacity, doing everything possible to see that justice prevailed in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Aloy Ejimako has been doing everything possible to see that his client, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is freed. Hence, he has activated all intellectual progress that he had. He has activated all his knowledge, calling for the attention of the world so that they could look into the direction of this man called Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu, so that the world could see to the crimes committed against him. I continuously commend Barrister Aloy Ejimako for his works, for his standing strong in this without minding the intimidation, both on social media and otherwise. He stood and is still standing so that Onyema Nnamdi Kanu could get his fair share of justice come 15th December 2023. Now, I want to read this tweet that Barrister Aloy Ejimako tweeted 5 days ago. 5 days ago. Now, where am I going to start? Where is it? Where is the first tweet? Okay, I think this is it. Now, this is not it. Yes. Yeah. It says Nigeria is under treaty to free Nnamdi Kanu without court order. They are under treaty to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without court order. That is number 1 point. All this one they are telling you they are waiting for Supreme Court to rule. They are only playing a delay game. They are delaying this issue. They know what to do. They are under treaty to release him because they have broke international law. They broke the treaty they signed. Nigeria entered into treaty with Kenya. They are into treaty with Kenya on this issue. Now the question is, why would Nigeria break this treaty? They have treaty which they entered with ECOWAS. They have treaty with UN. They broke all the international treaty to commit this atrocity, this crime. Now, Barrister Aloy Ejimako said that Nigeria is under treaty to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without court order. It doesn't matter what the court of Nigeria may think. The truth is that Nigeria has the power to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, in addition to this, I'm quoting Barrister Aloy Ejimako. In addition to the permanent prosecutorial barriers created by the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by virtue of the provisions of the Nigerian and Kenya Extradition Acts, there are other laws, particularly treaties, that have irreparably robbed Nigeria courts of the jurisdiction to subject Nnamdi Kanu to trial or even detention under the present circumstances. That is exactly the point. For the act of extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria has lost his virtue, the power to judge, to subject Mazi Nnamdi Kanu under court judgment. Because Nigeria has treaty with Kenya, Extradition Act with Kenya, which say that you must, when a fugitive from your country is in our country, you do not have power to come and kidnap him. You can approach our courts, who will give you go ahead to arrest him and then put him under court judgment, which will give the authority for you to take him out from our state. But did Nigeria do that? Nigeria did not do that. Nigeria went breaking the treaty they entered with Kenya and other international treaties. Do you understand it? So because of this singular act, Nigeria court does not have any rights whatsoever to judge or to put Mazi Kanu on trial. That is what Barrister Ejimako, Aloy Ejimako, is trying to say. Nigeria is wrong already. That is what we are trying to, the reason why we are doing all these things, so that those who is, because I know wherever they are right now, the stakes are very high. The expectations of the Biafran people is very, very high at this moment. Everybody is expecting that Mazi Kanu should be released, but you do not have to relax. That is why I am here this moment. We do not have to relax. We do not, with the experiences we have had in the zoo, knowing fully well that the zoos are animals in human skin. A country that could go to this extent. The other day, I heard that Tinubu was saying that he could not release Mazi Kanu because there are people from East from Igbo extraction who said he should release Mazi Kanu. Does that make sense to you? What does the law say? That is what should be the focus, not what anybody said. Every human being has an enemy. In fact, they say that the enemy of a man is from his household. So why would you now expect, you now want to, you need to go ahead. You need these people, the Igbo politicians, to give you go ahead before you do what is right. Is that what President Tinubu is saying? That he need excuse. He need go ahead from the Igbo politicians before he could do what the laws of Nigeria and the treaties that Nigeria itself entered says. No, it's not so. It's never so. What President Tinubu should focus on is what is the Nigerian law and all the treaties that Nigeria entered said in regards to this crime that was committed against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That should be his focus, not what the enemies of Mazi Kanu thought. That is not relevant. That is infant and childish reasoning. A matured mind does not reason this way. You must focus on the laws, not on individual pass marks or individual thoughts and reasoning over someone. What if his arch enemies gathered themselves together and said, do not release him, we want him dead? Are you going to carry out this? No. You are going to do what? You are going to listen to the laws of the land. That is what matters. So, Tinubu, you shouldn't come here with the cock and bull story telling us that Nigeria, an Igbo politician, does not want Mazi Kanu to be released. That is a lie. It's a lie. Pure lies from the pit of hell. We are not going to buy into it, and we will never buy into this rubbish. I continue to read from the tweet Barrister Aloy Ejimako tweeted. In plain terms, Nigeria cannot legally levy its sovereign rights of criminal prosecution or detention against Nnamdi Kanu without first proving that the act of transferring him from Kenya to Nigeria conformed to the basic tenets of treaties to which Nigeria is subject by ratification or by an act of the National Assembly. That is it. That is exactly it. This man called Barrister Aloy Ejimako he's a sensible lawyer. He's very, very articulative. He is a man to be reckoned with. He is telling Nigeria here that, listen, let me break it down to you. You don't have the legal levy. You don't have it that legally levy. Nigeria cannot legally levy its sovereign rights of criminal prosecution, or detention against Nnamdi Kanu without first proving that the act of transferring him from Kenya to Nigeria conformed to the basic tenets of treaties to which Nigeria is subjected. That is it. You have to prove that you passed through the right process in bringing back Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. You have to prove that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu passed through Kenya courts, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's arrest or whatever you call him in Kenya is legal. You have to prove those things. Which police station from Kenya arrested him in Kenya? Which police station did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stayed in Kenya before going through the court? Which court in Kenya passed and signed his extradition to Nigeria? That is what Nigeria need to provide. Nigeria need to prove that they passed through this, because they passed through this, they signed these treaties by themselves. That just like in the case of Abba Kyari, when American government requested for Abba Kyari, they went to Nigerian government, made a request that Abba Kyari is wanted by them in their country to answer for a crime he committed. They went to court, Nigerian court rejected, Nigerian government rejected. That is why today Abba Kyari is still in Nigeria. Now, there is a proof that America went through that process. Nigeria need to give us a proof that they also went to the legal process of arresting and extraditing a fugitive in their country. Now, this, I continue to read from Baritano in Michael. This is but a basic condition precedent without which trial or detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is unsustainable as a matter of black letter law. The whispering notion that extraordinary rendition is a quaint concept in international law and thus does not apply to Nigeria is profoundly false and retrograde. You see? In Ozu, they have a way of trying to wriggle themselves out of every position that is against them. They will tell you that extraordinary rendition is an internet that it does not apply to Nigeria or but Nigeria signed a treaty. Just like in the case of, what is it called? In the case of that one in UK many years ago. Now, in particular, there is a little known, often ignored Nigerian law enacted by the National Assembly in 1983 that exhibits extraordinary rendition or unlawful cross-border exclusion. Now, he's telling you that this thing is in Nigerian law. Now, he's going to quote it here. That law is known as the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement on brackets Act, codified at CAP A9. These are laws quotes. Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004. Article 12, bracket 4 of this law provide that a non-national legally admitted in a territory of a state party to the present charter may only be expelled from it by virtue of a decision taken in accordance with the law. That is why he is asking Nigeria to provide to bring the proof and provide the evidence that the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or the so-called infamous arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu passed through laws. Now I quote, I continue reading. To be sure, Nnamdi Kanu, a non-national of Kenya, was legally admitted to Kenya on 12th May 2021 and then expelled or was transferred from Kenya to Nigeria on 27th June 2021 without a decision taken in accordance with the law. This is the reason Nigeria should free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is the reason. They have broken the law. They've broken the law. Nigeria is not a Kenya citizen. He was admitted into Kenya on the set date. Now you took him away from Kenya by force without going through the law, without going through the process that is meant for it. Now, by Sanlo Ejimaka continue, unarguably, both Nigeria and Kenya are state parties to the parent African Charter that grandfathered the version cited above, that Nigeria later domesticated into its municipal laws in 1983. In effect, Nigeria became bound to this charter both by treaty and by domestication, bracket Act of National Assembly. Additionally, the mutual assistance in criminal matters within the Commonwealth Enactment and Enforcement Act, another little known Nigerian law, clearly specified at sections 4 to 6 the strict procedures that must be followed in any situation, such as the case of Kanu, where Nigeria is requesting assistance in a criminal matter, including transferring or extraditing a fugitive from Commonwealth country, of which Kenya is one. These procedures absolutely require the consent of the state of refuge where such fugitive is found. We need consent from Kenya government. That is what it is, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be extradited. In particular, section 6, bracket 5 stated clearly that the provisions of section 4, 5, and 6 of this act shall apply mutatis mutandis to any case in which Nigeria is either the requesting or requested country, as the case may require. In this case, Nigeria is the requesting country. The same African Charter, the continental version, provide in its principles and guidelines on human and people's rights, while countering terrorism in Africa at part 5A provides that a state may not transfer, example, deport, expel, remove, extradite, an individual to the custody of another state unless it is prescribed by law and in accordance with due process and other international human obligations. Deportation, expulsion, and removal cannot be used in circumvent criminal justice processes, including extradition procedures, extraordinary rendition, or any other transfer without due process is prohibited. What immediately jumps out from this law is the phrase extraordinary rendition or any other transfer without due process of law is prohibited. That is it. It is what? Prohibited. That is exactly the point. That is why Nigeria has lost every moral standard, every right to subject Mazi Kanu under trial. So those people sitting in Supreme Courts who thinks that they can use the power that is in their hands to twist justice, you have to think again, because the atrocity, the crime Nigeria committed has stripped them completely every right over this case of Mazi Kanu. And we expect that you as a Supreme Court judge will be able to interpret these laws without prejudice. That is more reason why I'm here this morning. Now, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor continue. Since Nigeria is by treaty bound by this instrument, the case of Nnamdi Kanu must be strictly guided by the celebrated precedent set in General Sani Abacha versus Gani Fawahemi, where the Supreme Court held that where a treaty is enacted into law by the National Assembly, as was the case with the African Charter, it becomes binding, and our courts must give effect to it like all other laws, falling within the judicial powers of the court. As long as National Assembly signed it, it has become a law and it's binding, and Nigerian government must follow it to the core. Now, I continue to read from Barrister Ejimakor. Where a treaty, okay, no, I've read it. Okay. Now it says, within the judicial, okay, thus the trial of Kanu is bad. Is bad. It's like bad. You cannot, it's bad. By the virtue of the provision of this treaty, the African Charter, and that expressly prohibited extraordinary rendition, because there is a law that prohibits extraordinary rendition. Nigerian courts has no right to try Mazi Kanu under their law anymore, because you cannot sit on wrong and you'll be able to stand. Further, in anticipation that any African state can turn lawless and commit extraordinary rendition, such as in this case, the African Charter's instrument known as the Principles and Guidelines on Human and People's Rights why countering terrorism in Africa at part provides that states shall provide full and effective reparation to individuals who have suffered violations of their human rights as a result of acts committed in the name of countering terrorism. That is exactly what we are doing now. We are providing every evidence against Nigeria. Full and effective reparation should include restitution. Nigerian government, what Nigerian government should be talking about now is reparation. How are we going to put things in order? How are we going to repair what we have destroyed? How are we going to appease Mazen Kano? How are we going to fix things that we have destroyed? That should be the focus of Nigerian government. But what is Nigerian government doing today? They are doing the opposite. Now, it tells you that Nigeria is not a country, but a contraption. Now, listen. Full and effective reparation should include restitution, compensation, rehabilitation, satisfaction, and guarantees of non-repetition. Nigeria government should do all this, and to cap it, they should promise that this nonsense will never happen again. They should be making restitution. They should be apologizing. They should be fixing things. They should be doing everything to make sure that they're satisfied. And they should promise never to repeat this crime again. That is what Nigerian government should be doing. That is what Nigerian government, in fact, what the Supreme Court judges should be preparing now is a letter of apologies on behalf of their government to Mazen Kano, and they should instruct their government, just like Appeal Court did. They should instruct Nigerian government to do what? To apologize and do reparation for this crime committed against Mazen Kano. I continue reading. In reading these provisions, keep in mind that the charges leveled against Kano all borders on countering terrorism. Whether you are countering terrorism or you are not countering terrorism, the point is that you have to do it the right way. That is what they are saying. You have to go about it the right way. Because it is what? It is innocent until proven guilty. You have to subject the person under court to be able to ascertain that he is indeed a terrorist. You cannot say, I am a terrorist, and you kill me the next time without proof that I'm a terrorist. I don't have a gun. I don't have any history of killing any civilian. I don't have any history of doing anything, terrorizing anybody. But here you are, termed me a terrorist, and you go after me with everything in you, even to my own death. It's wrong. I continue to read. And on what constitutes restitution? The United Nations basic principles and guidelines on the rights to a remedy and reparation for victims of gross violations of international human rights laws and serious violation of international humanitarian laws provide in Part 19 that restitution should restore the victim to the original situation before the gross violation of international human rights law occurred. Restitution includes restoration of liberty and return to one's place of residence, which is Kenya in the case of Kanu. It is beyond argument that Nigeria is, by virtue of being a member of United Nations and ratification of its instruments, therefore bound by these provisions. Exactly. And this is exactly what the Court of Appeal, the two high courts in Abia State has stated. I believe that they were looking at these laws of restitution to give this, to base their judgment. They instructed that Nigeria should return Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to his original status. They should return him to Kenya, where they kidnapped him and extraordinarily renditioning him back to Nigeria. That is it. That is the law. International law. United Nations law, which Nigeria is part of, signatory to it. You cannot sign a document and then go against it without facing the consequences. And what we should be talking about now is the consequences of the terrorism committed by Nigerian government. Whoever that is parading himself about as Muhammadu Buhari should be arrested like yesterday. Nigeria Attorney General, former Attorney General, in the person of Malami, should be arrested before now, like yesterday. This man committed act of terrorism. This man broke international laws, local laws, and all the charters and treaties they themselves entered. They shouldn't be allowed to be walking around free. They have no business being free. Their position belongs in the jail. That is where they belong. These men are terrorists. Now I will continue reading. In view of the foregoing, it is a basic precept of the law that a renditioned fugitive suspect can neither be subjected to detention nor trial in the country that renditioned him. It is abomination. It is abomination. It is an abomination that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in Nigerian solitary confinement for the past 3 years. It is an abomination. It is an act of terrorism. It is barbarism, and it should be condemned by every right-thinking individual. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, you must condemn it. You committed an act of terrorism against him, a state act of terrorism. And all same you have subjected him under torture, under series of inhuman treatments, and to cap it all, you put him in solitary confinement for the past 3 years, and the world is quiet, and the world is not talking about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. Everybody's going around about their businesses as if nothing is happening. But today, I am here to remind you that those like Barrister Noijimako are here to remind you, and I'm here to circumvent him, to remind you that, listen, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. That is it. The same way the world spoke against the acts of terrorism that happened to Israel by Hamas, is the same way that people should be speaking up against this terrorism that was meted against people of Biafra by kidnapping and extraordinary renditioning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And Supreme Court, you should do the right thing. You should second what Appeal Court said. The judgment of Appeal Court must stand. You must not try to twist or bend history or you try to twist justice, it is not going to go down well with us. Now, I continue reading. The only legal window is to restitution or restore such person to the status quo or return him to the country from which he was renditioned. It is pertinent to stress the point that extraordinary rendition inherently destroyed every prospect for a fair trial in the country that levied the rendition. Did you see? First, you cannot give a fair trial to someone you kidnap. Well, how can you give the person justice? You kidnap somebody. How can you give the person justice? It is impossible. You tortured somebody. How can you give the same person you tortured justice? It is also very, very impossible. That is it. That is it. Now, this was precisely the reason Britain denied Nigeria's formal application to extradite Umaru Dikko after his aborted rendition. Did you see? Nigeria, because they knew that they are on the wrong, that was in 1986 when they tried this same useless Buhari, the same dead, docile Buhari. When he tried to kidnap Umaru Dikko in British, he knew that he does not have any case against Umaru Dikko. He went behind to kidnap Umaru Dikko. When they failed to kidnapping him, now Nigerian government went through the right process to request for Umaru Dikko's extradition to Nigeria. British government denied it, citing the reason that, listen, a man that you tries to kidnap from our country without passing through due process, we cannot trust that when we give you the asset to take him back to your country, we do not trust you to give him justice in your country. Nigeria lost it. That is why they were unable to do what? To get Umaru Dikko extradite back to Nigeria, because they have committed crime against Umaru Dikko, which positioned them to a place of terrorism. And you cannot entrust people into terrorists, into the hands of terrorists. Nigeria is a terrorist country. Buhari was a terrorist and shall continue to be. Now I continue to read, and this is finally. Therefore, the next best thing for Nigeria authorities to do, now he's advising them. And now Ejimako is giving here Nigerian government and Nigerian judges his own piece of advice. Therefore, the next best thing for Nigerian authorities to do is to toe the paths of the pertinent laws and treaties by releasing Nnamdi Kanu forthwith. Anything to the contrary will be egregious, and stigmatize Nigeria as a nation that chooses impunity over rule of law. History teaches that it is such impunity that stokes the palpable tensions that quickly metamorphoses into spiraling insecurity that ultimately boomerangs against the state and disquiets the citizenry. This is the conclusion. Barrister Aloy Ejimako, a constitutional and human rights lawyer. Indeed. This is it. We Biafrans, we are patient. What Nigerian government has done to our leader should have turned Nigerian to a desert land by now. There should have been a place, Nigeria should have been a place of chaos. But because we are peaceful and we go about our agitation peacefully, that is why we are still here asking Nigerian government to do the right thing. That is why we are still here calling on Nigerian government, on President Tinubu, to encourage those Supreme Court judges to do the right thing. We want to remind Nigerian government that our quietness, the quietness of a leopard, does not stand for weakness. We are quiet because we are peace-loving people. We are going about this agitation without killing anybody, without stepping on anybody's toes, without taking what does not belong to us. We are going about it. We chose to go about it this way just because we are peace-loving people, and our agitation is not against anybody. Our agitation is the right thing to do because it is obvious that we are into slavery in Nigeria. But a time will come when we will resort to all manner of actions in order to get our freedom. Today we are calling on the Nigerian government to do the right thing. Today we are calling on the Nigerian government to release our leader unconditionally to us. Today we are using every mechanism of peace in going about this. I believe and wish that those in the helm of affairs in the Zoological Republic today should listen to the call for peace and release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are not going to take anything less on the 15th of December. If you like, remind us about those who came to tell you not to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We don't care. Not everybody wants Mazi Nnamdi Kanu alive. So many people want him dead. So many people are still pained that he did not die in Kenya. So we don't care what you think or what those who kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is telling you to do. We are not interested. All we care for is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. And we are asking you to do the right thing now. Come 15th, we want Mazi Nnamdi Kanu released to us. That is the right thing to do. And that is what Nigerian government should be thinking about right now. Now, I want to say something about freedom fighting. Because, so many people don't understand when you said slave, when you talk about someone when you talk about a slave, what is a slave? A slave is somebody whom his right has been denied. He doesn't have a right. He doesn't have a life. He doesn't have a family. Everything about him has been taken away from him. He is living like a dog. When you bought a dog as a pet, you put him in your house. You do to the dog as you pleases. I'm talking about those days. Today, dogs have rights. There's animal rights now. So if there is animal rights, now there should be human rights too. And that if animal rights should be respected, human rights should be respected above it. We are slaves in Nigeria. We are slaves in Nigeria. And I pity, or it's a pity that some people still thinks that what we are passing through in Nigeria is going to end soon. That it is a matter of the reason we are passing through what we're passing through in Nigeria today is because we are not the president. In 1966, what is his name? Aguiyi Ironsi was the president, military president of the zoo. How many of us were massacred? Over 100,000 of us. At the end of the day, Aguiyi Ironsi himself died. Our problem in the zoological republic is not about presidency. You can be a president, and are you going to say because you're a president, your enemies should not work? There are enemies in the camp. In your government, you have enemies. Our problem in the zoo is beyond that. Our problem in the zoo is slavery. We are slaves in the zoo. And those who will come and tell you, oh, you shed blood in the zoo, you're going about your freedom, you don't have to shed blood. Let me tell you something. Any day you talk about freedom, you're talking about blood already, shedding of blood. To Nigeria, when we said freedom, they see it as an act of war. That is why they go all out in eliminating us. That is why they killed us in droves, because we mentioned freedom. That is to tell you that freedom without blood is not complete. Because first, you went into freedom through shedding of blood, through shedding of blood of people. Because before someone could be able to take you into slavery, you either submit willingly or you died. Blood. Do you know how many people who died during slave trade? Blood. Do you know how many slaves who were killed in the presence of other slaves to pass a message? Blood. Blood is what it takes to go into slavery, and blood is what it requires to come out of slavery. If any man say to you, why all this blood? Why all this blood? Tell them that when you were bought into slavery, it's blood. To sustain it, blood is required. And you, as a slave, if you want to come out of that slavery, blood also is required. You cannot love your life and then love slavery. You have to give up your life to hate slavery. Because if you said, oh, I love my life so much, then you must love slavery above it. You must put slavery above it, because already you are a slave. That life you are talking about is no more in your hand. Now, the life you talk about is in the hands of your masters. And they are the one who controls the life for you. They tell you where to sleep. They tell you when to wake up. They tell you when to go to your wife. They tell you when to go to work. They tell you when to stop. They tell you when to eat. Everything you do as a slave you are no more in charge now over your life. Someone else is in charge. That person determines the type of life he wants you to live. If he wants you to have a home, your home built in the farm, in the forest, so shall it be. If he wants you to eat on the floor, so shall it be. So anything that your master tells you is what you are. Whatever he calls you is who you are. That is why when you look at the history of the slaves in America, you cannot hear Okonkwo, you cannot hear Okafor, because immediately they were bought into slavery, so their names were changed. They start to answer the names that the masters gave to them. That is why when you bought a dog, you give him your own name. That name you give your dog is what your dog will answer. That is to tell you that slavery is nothing but, in fact, when you are a slave, you are dead. That is it. A slave has to forfeit his life, his future, his name, his culture, his tradition. A slave has to take a new name, a new life, a new culture, a new tradition. That is the tradition of his masters. That is what it is. So if you want to return back to who you are or who you used to be, you need to fight. And in the process of trying to fight, there is blood. Blood will be spilled. You spill blood. Either you spill blood of your oppressors, either you spill the blood of your captive, or your own blood will be spilled. But do you know what? The end game is freedom. Whether if you succeed, you have your freedom. If you died, you also have your freedom, because a dead man is no more anybody's slave. That is why it is better for us to die on our feet fighting than to live on our nails. It is impossible. That is why we are fighting the zoo. And those who will come on social media and say, "Oh, you are killing those who are you are protesting, those who are trying to set free, they are dying." Of course. That is the freedom. That is the freedom we are talking about. And we shall go against any of our own who will align with our enemies to continue to perpetuate our slavery and our suffering in the zoological republic. You are our enemies. So long you are against my freedom, you are against my ideology, you are also an enemy to me. You are a soldier. They sent you to my land to go and stop the agitators. They gave you guns and bullets to shoot aside. And you, as a Biafran, a soldier in Nigeria establishment, you carry the guns into the land and you open fire, killing your own people. You have become an enemy. If I see you, I will bite you, I will tear you, I will eat your meat raw. I will not mind that you are a Biafran, because you do not mind that I am also your brother. Freedom is blood. It is not free, though it is called freedom. It is bought with a price. The price of freedom is blood. And when you say you are ready and you are willing to fight for freedom, you shall be ready to spill blood, or your own blood should be still spilled. That is the truth of it. That is what freedom is all about. Even those countries that have attained their freedom, who have their sovereignty, they are still fighting to stabilize and to retain their freedom. They keep spilling blood, because it's in the human nature to encroach. And for you to sustain your border and to rid your border of all these evil people, you need to spill blood. That is exactly the state of freedom. Nobody made it so. It is nature. Nature made it so. So, damn those ignorant fools who will come and tell you, how can people die? The same people you said you are fighting for, how can they die under your watch? There is nothing like bloodless freedom. Nothing like that. There is no bloodless freedom. You have to pay a price, and the price is blood. And who is an enemy? An enemy is anybody who is against your ideology. As a freedom fighter, anybody that is against freedom is an enemy to you. Those who come and ask you, why do you want freedom? Why do you want Biafra? No, we don't want Biafra. He is an enemy. Let me tell you. Be careful, because if this person sees an opportunity, he or she is going to sell you out. So when you see such person, see the person as an enemy. Put him far away from you. If he is an enemy, if he's that enemy that has weapons, those who can take your life away, make sure you deal with him before he gets to you. Deal with him before he gets to you. So an enemy is one who is against your freedom, against your ideology. You don't have to do what? You don't have to associate with the person. You don't have to walk with that person. You have to put him in arm's length. Keep him far away from where you can watch him closely. And be careful. Why did they sell Mazen Ekano? Because Mazen Ekano were unknowing to him walked with his enemies, those who are against his ideology, those who do not believe in what he believes. They pretended that they are with him, but they are not. They were only looking for an opportunity to do evil against him. Immediately the opportunity called, they grabbed it and sold him. Do you think that if Mazen Ekano had known that these men are his enemies, he would have kept them? No, he wouldn't have kept them. He would have gotten rid of them, like he did to the ones in the past. But these men disguised themselves. And today, they succeeded in selling Mazen Ekano. But Chukwu Abiyama has proven to be God. Now, there is a video that I want to be playing for us. Where is this video? Just give me a sec.
If you are an Igbo man, you are an Igbo woman in this country, Nigeria, and you open your mouth and insult President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, thought that he's doing press up in Sabisa Forest for you. I came out here and I told you people that the federal government are not responsible for the hold down of Nnamdi Kanu. All of you said I was a stupid man. Did you read news when the president said he wanted to release Nnamdi Kanu? When I not read that, when I not even read this, I know what I'm not saying. And he said the Igbo leaders came to him and said that you should leave him there. Oh no man, I they kill him. See? When they tell you, say the enemy of an Igbo man is an Igbo man, I don't know. I'm an Igbo man. I only marry from Igbo. Would it cause me an Igbo people? But I have been standing and praying for this Nnamdi Kanu for over 4 years. I go there pray, and I go there scatter my prayer. Wicked Igbo leaders, some of the Igbo leaders. So if you venture open your mouth and you insult me on this video, you insult President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the thunder that will pay you visit is doing press up in Sabisa Forest with Boko Haram. That man is suffering because he wants to free his people. He's fighting for his people. What is your face?
Prophet, I understood your point, but you see what you just said here? It could be truth. I am not saying that it is not truth. It is truth. It could be true that these Igbo politicians does not want Mazen Ekano released. It will be true that they were scheming things around, using everything within their powers to see that Mazen Ekano is not released. The only reason why is because we are in the zoo. In a country that is workable, it is it is like it's a joke to make such statement. What we should be focusing on is not what any individual said or any individual is saying. It's not about what I want or what you want. What we should be focusing here is what is Nigerian law and all the international laws that Nigeria is part of said in this matter. That is it. Remember, the person that kidnapped Mazen Kanu was the former government. Do you remember that? Not this present government. And they coming here to tell us that Tinubu wants to release Mazen Kanu, but Igbo politicians refused. He's trying to tell us that Nigeria does not obey or regards her own laws. Because if we can remember very, very well, few months ago, appeal court ruled that Nigeria government should free Mazen Kanu. That should be what that is where we should base our thoughts, not on who wants him released or who does not want him to released. It's not important. Even Tinubu himself does not want Mazen Kanu released because all of them are afraid of Mazen Kanu. All of them are afraid of what Mazen Kanu is capable of doing. Because the only thing they wanted to do is to do what? To destroy the IPOB, thinking that Mazen Kanu's absence is going to do the work. Today they are confused, but because they could not achieve the aim. So I do not agree with you that Tinubu is not the one keeping Mazen Kanu there. Tinubu is the one keeping Mazen Kanu there because Tinubu is a president of Nigeria, and what is his job and duties as a president? The job of Tinubu is make sure that Nigeria is moving in the right direction, and the laws of Nigeria is respected and kept. That is why he is the chief commander-in-chief of Nigeria, of Armed Forces of Nigeria. So Tinubu should not tell you that Igbo politicians does not want Mazen Kanu release, and you come here telling us that we should believe that. We are not going to believe that. Because all Tinubu need to do is to give directive that the rulings of the appeal court should be obeyed. And that is all. Tinubu is not in Tinubu's hand to release Mazen Kanu. He does not have the power. He's not the court. Court is the only institution that has the power to free and detain a man in a country, not the president. A president is not there to decide who walks freely and who is detained. So all Tinubu need to do is make sure that the right thing is done in this case, in this matter. Like we said before, we are not asking Tinubu to do us a favor. No. Because if you are putting it, if you base it on begging Tinubu, then you are missing the point. So I'm not going to agree with you on this case.
Of Nnamdi Kanu that Sunday Igboho did not commit.
Listen.
Sunday Igboho is back to his people.
No,
he's helping his people. A prophet that was sent to your land is languishing in detention. Some wicked, stupid, I don't know. Oh, I don't know what to say.
Huh?
They said I should leave him in the prison.
Yeah.
May God deliver all the Igbo people. If you not like, make una wake up very soon. They go start to the portion for different states. We never see anything. I don't know what. If I open my mouth, I tell you what I see in the spirit. In the spirit, una break go correct. Igbo people. Very soon, all the states in Nigeria they start to the portion now. Since you people cannot go and develop your region and Fight for your leader.
I disagree on this man on so many things. You know, it's not good when you do some things, you allowed irrelevant things to becloud your judgment. It amazes me when people talk about developing your region and all that. People should come out in plain terms and say, go back, take your Biafra and go back to your land. Are we not supposed to be members, citizens of Zoological Republic of Nigeria? What is my right as a citizen of a country called Nigeria? Why are you talking about developing my region? Is it in my power to develop my region or in the hands of the government to develop a region? Do I have power to build an international airport and make it viable without Nigerian government determine how it's going to work, whether it's going to work or it's not going to work? Do I have the power to open seaports? Do I have the power to build government road infrastructures? What do I have power to do? What do I have power to do as an individual, as a citizen? When people talk about don't go back, what do you mean very soon they will be pursuing us all over the country? Is it not better to use this platform you had now to tell Nigeria as a state to allow Biafrans to go if they don't want them? Because that's exactly what you are saying. Nigeria don't want us. It is fine. We have accepted it. But you are forcing us to remain under the same Nigeria that does not want us. If we say we are one people, we are the same country, why should you wake up and start pursuing us? Why? Have you asked yourself that question? Why would you be pursuing me if I am in the same position, the same right, we are in the same country? Why should you be pursuing me? If you don't want me, why not ask me to go? Then I will go and develop my own country. There is nothing like go and develop your region here. What do you mean go and develop your region? Who developed Lagos State? Who developed all the states in the north? So why is it when it comes to us, you want us to develop our own? Develop it how? With whose resources? So if I go to develop my region, the resources that is coming from my region, what is it going to be used for? That is the question. What is the resources that God blessed me with, which is in control of the national and state government? What is it going to be used for? To buy private jets? To live an expensive life? It's impossible. You should call for what? You should call for Nigerian government to give us what we are asking for, which is Biafra. You should, in fact, as a matter of fact, you should join this man.
Muted voices of millions of Igbo cannot be heard, so that Nigerians can understand the degree to which secession by the Igbo represents their popular choice. Nigeria has had to fight two terrible wars to preserve the country. The North has paid its dues in that war, and indeed in many ways throughout the history of our country. Under our current circumstances,
you listen to what this man is saying here. I don't want you to misunderstood this point. I am not convinced with what this man said or is saying. And I don't trust this man a bit. I don't believe him either. Because I know what is called takia in Muslim world. He could be using takia here. But one thing I want you to get here is what that the words coming out from his mouth. Whether he meant it or whether he's acting, the truth is that whatever that he's saying here is the truth and nothing but the truth. Nigeria has to give Biafrans what they ask for. Don't mind him saying Igbos. You know, when they want to live in denial of Biafra, they say it's Igbo. But in actual sense, they know the truth. He said Nigeria should give them what they are looking for, which is secession or whatever they are calling him. He reminded Nigeria that they have fought a brutal war in which the North paid their own share of price. Biafrans also paid and is still paying their own price, which prompted him to give this press statement. So let's continue listening to him.
Circumstances. No Nigerian should welcome another war to keep this country together. The North in particular.
No Nigeria should welcome another war to keep Nigeria together. This is the climax of this press release. I'm talking about those who said one Nigeria is indivisible. One Nigeria is indivisible. Those who said Nigeria is non-negotiable. Did you hear what this man said? Nigeria cannot fight another war to keep it together. It is not possible. If people who are in marriage said we don't want this marriage, you don't tell them, let you kill yourselves. You do what? You divide the marriage and divorce it. Divorcing it means that you have separated them to go their either ways. That is the situation, the point Nigeria is. And every right-thinking individual should be calling for the dissolution of Nigeria, as this man said. To keep Nigeria together, war is not needed. So let's continue.
Has more than enough challenges. The North in particular has more than enough challenges. And we recognize that violent secession by any part of Nigeria will compound the problems of all Nigerians under which we live. The forum has arrived at the difficult conclusion that if support for secession among the Igbo is as widespread as it is being made to look, and Igbo leadership appears to be in support of it.
Let me tell you, my northern elder, let me call you, at least for once, my northern elder. Let me tell you something. When you said if it is as acceptable as it is meant to, believe, you are getting it wrong. What you should be telling them to do is to call for a referendum to prove it. To prove it. Call for a referendum. I know that you people may say, okay, and there's nothing like Igbo leaders. They don't, when you talk about, who made them Igbo leaders? Are you talking about political leaders? In the history of Ndi Igbo, we have only but two leaders, Igbo leaders. One, late Odumegwu Ojukwu. That is whom you can say Igbo leader now. And every man in Igbo land will nod his head. Wow. Then we have another person who is with us, still with us, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you want to know our stand, if you want to know if what we want, go and ask Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There is no other leader in Igbo land. Igbo does not have any other leader. The only leader we have is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So if you want to know our stand on this, if you want to know what we believe, do if we want Biafra or if we still want belong to one Nigeria, if you actually want to get the right response and the state of things, how as it is, go and ask Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the current Igbo leader, alive. No other. If you talk about your puppets, the puppets of the north, the Fulani puppets, the stooges in our land, the political prostitutes in our land, if you talk about them, then I will tell you categorically with my chest hard that you are missing the point here. Those are bunch of corrupt criminals masquerading themselves as Ohaneze ndị Igbo na ndị ama na ndị oshi. Let's continue.
Then the country should be advised not to stand in its way. It will not be in the interest, it will not be the best choice for the Igbo or Nigerians to leave a country we have all toiled to build. And the country.
No. That is where I talk about deceit. We told to build which country? Who told you we thought? No, this is a country of both a relationship between slave and masters. There is no country here in the first place. Which country you thought to build? You thought to build what? You thought to sustain the slavery, the master-slave relationship that we had or that we are having or experiencing in Zoological Republic. Nothing more, nothing less. There is no toiling. If you say you toil to build or to do something, you should at least be able to bring some degree of success or to show some degrees of success. When it comes to the point of Zoological Republic, since 1960 up to date, what have we achieved as one? What has our toiling brought to us? For us, nothing. That means that we are not toiling, but we are only surviving in the Zoological Republic. And it is time to call a spade and break it so that people should go and do the good toiling.
Country we all have responsibility to fix. But it will not help a country already burdened with failures on its knees to fight another war to keep the Igbo in Nigeria.
Yes, that is what we are talking about. And I want you to know that this man represents the Northern elders. And this is a resolution. They are calling on President Tinubu to do the right thing. And every right-thinking government of the world, both the British evil government, to also call for the disintegration of Nigeria. Everybody's tired. We are tired of Nigeria. We don't see ourselves as Nigeria since the barbaric war, since the starvation of 1967 to 1970 meted on us. We've lost our interest, our respect. we stop seeing ourselves as Nigerians and stand so till eternity. So the only thing that is good is that we may go our separate ways. When we do that, we can be good neighbors, just like we are with Benin Republic, just like we are with Ghana, just like we are with Cameroon. We could be good neighbors, doing things without problems. But staying together is not going to work. We rejected it yesterday, we reject it today, and we shall continue to reject Nigeria as long as we have our breath in us. Nigeria is an evil entity. In our eyes, Nigeria were accepted, turned, and has become an Islamic state. Is that a kind of a nation? Is that a kind of union? Is that a kind of relationship you want a Biafran to be part and parcel of? Never. Never, never, and never again. Go and have your Islamic state. Have your Sharia laws. If I decided to come to your own Islamic state to live, I know that I am staying in Islamic state, and I will be willing to obey every laws that you put in place. If I am not capable, I leave and go back to a place that I can be accepted. But I cannot be in your own country, in the same country, in my own country, and things are not working the way it should be. It's not going to be possible. So Britain, there is before I conclude, there is a video I used to have. Let me see if I can still get, if I still lay my hand on this video. Where is that video? Where's the video then? Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. I couldn't get hold of this video. I will maybe in my next program this evening. I'm going to be playing that video. I can't see how but go on. You know, the British people thought that they are dealing with us when they were committing all this crime against us. Today, I can't see far but go on. So I thank you, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom, for listening to this program here in IPOB Western Cape South African Media this morning. I appreciate your presence, and I thank you for patiently following us in all our activities in this page. I pray that Chukwu Okike Abiama Pụrụ Ihe Niile will continue to preserve you and protect you. And also remember, as always, to put our leader Maazị Nnamdi Kanu into your prayers and commit him into the hands of Chukwu Okike Abiama. And also, I want you to also continue to believe that come 15th of December, Maazị Nnamdi Kanu should be rejoining us. May Chukwu Okike Abiama protect him and preserve him in this perilous time, that no plan of the enemy shall work against him. I thank you, fellow Biafrans, for watching me this program this evening. here in IPOB, Western Cape South African Media. And I say to you, from me, from here, fellow Biafrans, it is good afternoon.
Speak.